people that don't know me approach me how the media perception is of me. They say perception is reality, which is the dumbest thing in the world.
With the first pick in the 2001 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Kwame Brown from Lynn Academy, Brunswick, Georgia.
He was the #1 overall pick in the draft by your Washington Wizards. Did you think at this stage there would be more progress?
Kwame Brown is just being a disaster out there.
Kwame Brown, arguably the biggest bust in NBA draft history.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
I think a lot of the times people say things that are opinions and they say it as a fact. So many people wanted to be a part of me and wanted to gravitate to me and make up these stories. None of those stories are true because a lot of the media is gossip. Stop acting like you know a person through what someone else is saying. You know, get to know a person yourself. Kwame Brown is a kid that went through a struggle that the average person would die going through. You know, I went from a homeless shelter. I was one of 8 children. So how can you call that kid a loser or that kid unsuccessful when if you put your son in the same situations I was in, or even you probably wouldn't be here.
For the first time in NBA draft history, high school kid is #1 in the draft.
They always say, name a #1 draft pick that scored his amount of points and all of this, all of that, but name a #1 draft pick that had Michael Jordan on his team. As soon as MJ came back, it was no process to build me as a player. It was, we got to win right now. I was in awe, just like everybody else. But there's an old saying, you don't want to meet the person that you idolize. They're never going to live up to what you think they are. He was a great competitor. He was a great teammate. It's just, I was the first to ever be drafted out of high school #1. It was a big risk they were taking. So who do you blame it on? You blame it on the kid. You start talking about his hands.
He has small hands.
You start talking about this.
He can't catch the ball.
You start talking about that.
He has no game whatsoever, plays no defense.
And you forget that there was a process that I went through to get to that point. No one just picked my name out of a bucket and said, hey, you're #1 draft pick. They lined guys up in front of me. I played against guys that they say were going to be #1 or #2. People forget that whole process. But if you go back and do your numbers and you look at when I do play, you know, no one talks about Charlotte. I was averaging double-double in 2 quarters. Tyrese Thomas had 40 million for that one season that he almost had a double-double. I got a 1-year deal. I'm not God, so I don't know how the story ends, but the big 3 means for me another opportunity to compete.
Blocked by Brown, recovered by Brown, inside Jason Williams.
I was in LA, couldn't dunk a basketball, and this video is rotating on YouTube. Mitch Kupchak called me in the office and said, I need you to play. You know, I come from the inner city of Georgia and from the slums. You're paying me $8 million. They shot me up with cortisone, I played. That summer I had ankle reconstructive surgery and shoulder surgery. But the casual fan don't care about that. They just laugh. He couldn't dunk a basketball. I get it now. I get why so many people are jealous. It's not fair to have someone who is 18 and a half, 19-year-old, you know, walk into $12 million while you have to go off to college, and no matter what you say, you can't take that away. When I walk in a room and somebody was a bigger name than me, I have a bit of jealousy as well, but people won't say that. I'm just honest enough to admit it. You know, I'm in the history books. I made history.